So that was a movie. Clerks 3 is the new movie that is like Clerks, but it's the third time they've done it, so Clerks 3.
They've been here since the first movie, which was the last time they were cool. But they've been with the franchise so long, they still give them cameos and put them on the lunchboxes.
Snoochie Boochie! I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I rated it a 7 out of 10.
What did we think of Clerks 3?
I didn't mind it. I didn't like it as much as you two, obviously. But only by like a smidge. I think more of it fondly now that I'm, not watching it. I don't know, it's weird. But like as I was watching it, there were moments that didn't quite work for me. / it felt a little overworked. But also I do kind of admire what he's going for. And maybe if I see it again, I'll like it more.
I liked it more the more I think about it because it feels harmless in a way that like I know it's not messing anything up or it's not going to be bad or any way, but also it seems like, not to spoil anything, but there's some emotional parts of this movie, and the more I think about it, the more I feel like those actually kind of landed.
Clerks is in a different tier, and then Clerks 2 is in a different tier, but like it's kind of slightly diminishing returns with all three of them. But Clerks is just like a really great film, and like it's important for independent movies and stuff. And then Clerks 2 is absolutely some of the funniest stuff I've seen, especially from Kevin Smith. And then the third one has its funny moments, but it's not really what you come here for, in my opinion. Once they get going on that third act with the emotional stuff, I think it's really well done. You could tell that he knew what he wanted to do, and he felt like this was important to him and his group of people to make this movie. And I think that really sticks with you when you're walking out of the theater and you can kind of ruminate in it and just be like, I'm glad they made that movie. I'm glad they finally got to put it out.
The two of them, being Jeff Anderson and Brian O'Halloran, I like them more when they're doing just their banter and they're riffing off of each other, more than the dramatic elements that they're brought to do in this movie. I didn't think they fully pulled it off until the last half hour. But there were scenes with like Brian O'Halloran and Rosario Dawson where I didn't quite feel it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just an a-hole.
No, I understand.
I feel the opposite in this particular case because
Okay.
I think that that's the best stuff in the movie is like them two. The drama there makes sense, the way that they grow up and how they don't really grow, but then they kind of just realize, how they go through it all, and just the acting in scenes while they're filming the movie is really well done.
That's the thing. I was unconvinced until Brian O'Halloran gives this monologue.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay.
That makes sense.
That
it was cool and stuff before, but that's when it really hits. And I was like, dang.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna whimper out and just be like, hey, that was fun, and they got to make something they wanted to make. It was actually like, it made sense at the end.
Bryce, did Clerks 3 make you cry?
I didn't like full on cry, but like in my mind it did.
I teared up.
Yeah, especially when they do that particular thing at the end. I was like, yep, I do care about this. I watched the extra documentary behind the scenes little thing they did at the end, and it drives the point home even further that this whole group of people is like a family, and they've literally been doing these 3 movies for the last 30 years, basically.
Yeah. The first one came out in '94, so it's about 30 years.
In a weird way, I found myself comparing the 3 movies to like the 3 Back to the Future movies, in the sense where like the first one is like perfect and pretty much untouchable, and you need it to get the other ones. And the second one's kind of like the fan favorite, where it does a lot of different stuff, and say they bring in a donkey and such. And in the third one, it seems like they are still playing with the fun parts of 1 and 2, but there's a lot more heart in it. And I mean, that's kind of like the exact same thing as Back to the Future.
It's a pretty sincere movie, and maybe with time I'll up it. Because didn't Kevin Smith had a heart attack?
Yeah, I forgot.
Not long ago, and I think that this movie, in a way, is like him reckoning with that.
I'm gonna make a movie!
It's like his own commentary on himself and his career as told through Dante and Randall.
That's their metaphor.
Dantle. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You know what? No, I meant what I said. As told through Dantle.
Apparently, it's like the Widowmaker heart attack. That's like the same thing he had. Where he had like the same percentage to live or something like that.
Yeah, and that's why it felt like really good and justified. They didn't handle it stupidly. Like it made sense, and it was like, oh yeah, that is a nice way to put a crisis in that ties into your own life and how you reevaluate your own life, and then it works perfectly for these 2 characters.
He did do Jay and Silent Bob reboot, like after he recovered from his heart attack. But this feels more like the first movie he makes after like recovering and realizing like he's coming to terms with how he made all these movies with all of his friends and that could have been over with, and it's very reflected in the Don Toll relationship.
I think I did like Clerks 3 better because of the added emotion, but I do enjoy Reboot. I will give you all that.
I thought it was good too. There were moments in it, joke-wise, that didn't land for me either, but the funny stuff in it I did think was funny. It's worth watching, at least. Yeah, I'll like it more with time.
I still feel like if you like Kevin Smith's writing and his directing, it's still just as crisp as ever. Like a lot of the funny parts hit. One of my favorite Kevin Smith characters ever is Elias.
I knew it.
And so, like,
Yeah.
you get a lot of Elias
Yeah.
in Clerks 3, so I was happy.
I do wish they had a little better payoff with Elias' character at the end of the movie, but they do have a nice, interesting thing they do, but I thought it was going to be paid off
Yeah.
by the end of it, and it was cool, but it didn't go all the way.
That's how we did it in the 90s, son!
Check it out if you like the other Clerks movies, if you're interested in Kevin Smith and you like the guy. This is not Yoga Hosers. This is a good
Oh my God.
See Clerks 3, we enjoyed it. Let us know what you all thought of Clerks 3. Did you see it? Do you have any interest in seeing it? Do you think Kevin Smith is done and he's not that good anymore? Do you love Kevin Smith and everything he does? Comment down below about that sort of thing, and if you like the video, hit that like button. If you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe to the channel. So That Was a Movie. We'll be back doing this again about a different movie that's not Clerks 3, blah, 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 blah. See y'all in the comments and in other videos.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.